They say every school has a room that's off limits. Thought it was just a rumor until I accidentally found myself inside it. I'd always been curious. There was this one room in our old school, room 204, that was always locked. Teachers would give vague warnings. Students would whisper stories, and some claimed they'd heard strange noises from inside. Most of us ignored it, except me. I was the kind of kid who loved a mystery, and off-limits signs only made me more determined. It started on a Tuesday. Our teacher had left the classroom to grab supplies, and I was walking down the hall when I noticed something strange. The lock on room 204 was hanging open, swinging slightly. I froze. Nobody in their right mind would leave that door unlocked. My heart pounded. I looked around. Empty hallway. The janitor was on the opposite side, busy with a cart of mops and brooms. Curiosity got the better of me. Slowly, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was small, filled with old desks stacked against the walls. The windows were dusty, letting in just enough light to see the faded chalkboard at the front. Everything seemed normal, except for one thing. A low, humming sound coming from the corner. I walked closer, my shoes creaking against the old wooden floor. The humming grew slightly louder, almost like someone whispering under their breath, but it didn't form words. My stomach twisted with a mix of fear and excitement. At that moment, I told myself I would only stay for a minute. Just a minute, then I saw it. A small, dusty cabinet with a locked drawer. I don't know why, but I felt drawn to it. I reached out and touched the handle. The humming stopped immediately. I held my breath. For a moment, it was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Then, slowly, the drawer creaked open on its own. Inside was a notebook. The cover was worn, the pages yellowed with age. I opened it and found sketches, rough, almost childlike drawings of the school, the hallways, and the very room I was standing in. But the strange part, one corner of each page had tiny dots arranged in sequences that looked like eyes staring at the room itself. My skin crawled. Suddenly, the humming returned, louder this time, and I realized it was coming from behind me. I spun around, but the room was empty. Only the shadows seemed to move. My pulse raced. I wanted to run, but my legs refused to cooperate. The notebook slipped from my hands, landing open on the floor. On the page, a new sketch had appeared. A figure, small and shadowy, standing near the desk at the back. It had no features, just a silhouette, but somehow it felt alive. The air grew colder, and I could see my breath fog in front of me. I swallowed hard. Then I heard it, a whisper, barely audible, like someone was speaking directly into my ear. "Why are you here?" I jumped back, knocking over a stack of old chairs. The sound seemed to echo around the room. My first thought was that it was a prank, that maybe someone had hidden in the back. But the corners of the room remained empty, and the door was still closed behind me. I grabbed the notebook and ran. My sneakers squeaked as I bolted down the hall, and I didn't stop until I reached the library. My friend Mia looked up from her book, startled. "What happened?" she asked. I held up the notebook, breathing heavily. "You have to see this. Room 204, it's not empty. There's something inside." Mia's eyes widened. She had always been skeptical of the creepy stories about the school. "You're joking." "I'm not," I said. "Look at this." We sat together at a table and flipped through the notebook. The sketches moved. Not physically, of course, but it was like the figures shifted slightly each time we turned the page. And the dots, the eyes, seemed to follow us. "Maybe it's old," Mia said, trying to rationalize it. "Maybe someone was just drawing this years ago." "But how did it change?" I asked. "And why did I hear a voice?" We debated it for a few minutes, then decided to tell a teacher. We found Mr. Thompson, the librarian, and showed him the notebook. He frowned and took it carefully. "Room 204 hasn't been used in years. The door shouldn't even open." "Then how?" I started. He shook his head. "Some things in old schools aren't explained, but it's best if you leave it alone." We nodded, uneasy, and returned the notebook to his desk. But that night I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining the figure, the whisper, and the way the eyes seemed to follow me. The next day, I returned to room 204. The door was locked, silent, but I felt a chill every time I passed. Strange things happened all week. Books falling, shadows shifting. Mia and I decided to investigate after school with flashlights and a recorder. Inside, the cabinet drawer was slightly open. The notebook sat there, blank, until words appeared. "I see you." A whisper echoed. "Why are you here?" We ran, terrified, all the way home. That night, I dreamt of room 204. When I woke, the notebook was on my desk. It's real, and it's still waiting. Subscribe.